Hey everyone, this is a longer video about the differences between healthy shame and unhealthy shame. Shame is a complex emotion that is often associated with negative experiences such as guilt, embarrassment, and humiliation. However, not all forms of shame are created equal. Some forms of shame can be healthy and adaptive, while others can be debilitating, toxic, and harmful to our well-being and relationships. So, what is healthy shame? Healthy shame is a natural and appropriate emotional response that helps us recognize and take responsibility for our mistakes, shortcomings, or transgressions. It is an adaptive emotion that motivates us to correct our behavior, make amends, and strive for personal growth and improvement. When recognized and used effectively, it can lead to a sense of humility. Healthy shame develops through healthy socialization and interpersonal relationships, particularly in childhood. When we violate social norms or expectations, we may experience healthy shame, which helps us to restore our integrity in social connections with others, keeps us in the in group with others. The difference between shame and guilt is perhaps important to delineate here. Shame is the sense that I'm not good enough, whereas guilt is the feeling that I have done something wrong. So, shame is more about our sense of personhood and identity, whereas guilt is more about our actions, behaviors. Thus, they can both frequently coincide together, since most situations involve a feeling of ourselves as a person in relation to our actions and behaviors that we've done. For example, a child who lies to their parent may feel guilty and ashamed, prompting them to apologize and correct their behavior, and that shame will help them remember to not commit that behavior again in the future. Similarly, a person who realizes they have hurt someone's feelings may feel ashamed and apologize, leading to reconciliation and healing. Some traits associated with healthy shame. It's a transient emotion that comes up in response to specific behaviors or situations. It's proportional to the offense and does not involve self condemnation or self criticism. It motivates us to take action and to make amends, doesn't undermine our self worth or self esteem, and it allows us to recognize our mistakes and learn from them. It can help lead to humility. So, what is unhealthy shame? Unhealthy shame, also known as toxic shame, is a persistent and intense feeling of inadequacy, unworthiness, or defectiveness that can be debilitating and harmful to one's well being and relationships. Unlike healthy shame, which arises in response to specific behaviors or actions, unhealthy shame is pervasive and chronic, often manifesting as a fundamental sense of self loathing or self hatred. This is how unhealthy shame develops. In childhood, children who grow up in environments where they feel unloved, unsupported, or rejected may internalize the belief that they are flawed or defective, leading to chronic shame and self doubt. Stereotypes, prejudice, or unrealistic expectations about certain groups of people can lead to shame. For example, highly sensitive men may experience shame as a result of societal stigma and discrimination. Survivors of trauma may blame themselves for what happened, leading to feelings of shame and guilt. Some traits associated with unhealthy shame. It's persistent and chronic, often unrelated and, and out of proportion to specific behaviors or actions. So it's disproportionate to the offense and involves self blame and self condemnation. It undermines self worth and self esteem, leads to self criticism, self doubt, and self isolation. It may manifest in various forms of dysfunctional behaviors, such as substance abuse, eating disorders, self harm, or aggression. So, how do we address unhealthy shame? To address unhealthy shame, it is essential to identify the underlying causes and develop healthy coping strategies. This may involve working with a therapist to process past traumas, challenge negative self beliefs, and hopefully cultivate some self compassion. It may also involve building supportive relationships and engaging in activities that promote self care, self expression, and personal growth. Here's a few strategies to help address unhealthy shame. By identifying and challenging negative self talk and beliefs, this can happen. Try and think of a time you felt proud or happy with yourself. Pride is the opposite of shame, and this will help break the hold that unhealthy shame has. You can practice sharing things about yourself with trusted others. Ideally, something you are quite comfortable with sharing, but haven't told many others about it before. You can start small. So, by shining light and sharing things you feel ashamed about, you actually begin to break the power shame has over you. You can try developing self compassion, self care practices, which I'll post some other videos about in the future as well. Engaging activities that promote self expression, creativity, and personal growth. Having healthy relationships. Working with someone that you trust. Essentially, accessing feelings of pride, acknowledging and allowing yourself to feel pride, as well as shining empathy, and which is sort of like shining a light on the shadow of shame. Shame is like unhealthy shame in particular is like that dark shadow that kind of follows us around. And if it's a strong, entrenched, unhealthy shame, then it often almost consumes us. It's like we get sort of shadowed out and feeling like we're in the darkness of our own minds often. And so by empathizing with ourselves or talking about and sharing the things that we feel ashamed about with a trusted other, it's actually kind of like we're shining a light on that part of our shame shadow. And that illuminates it. That sort of takes the power away from shame. So, in conclusion, shame is a complex emotion that can be both healthy and unhealthy, depending on its nature and intensity. Healthy shame can motivate us to correct our mistakes, make amends, and strive for personal growth and improvement. Unhealthy shame, on the other hand, can be debilitating and harmful, leading to chronic self loathing, self isolation, and dysfunctional behaviors. By understanding the differences between healthy and unhealthy shame, you can start to learn to recognize and address unhealthy shame in ourselves and others. You can cultivate self compassion and self esteem, and you can start to build healthy relationships with yourself and others. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. I know it's a lot to sort of take in. Drop any comments below, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for listening.